Hi, and welcome back to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go-to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature for health and healing. I'm Jen. I'm a passionate health educator, whole food, plant-based culinary coach, and a master herbalist. And I'm here with Dan, an exercise specialist and wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice, and we draw from both traditional wisdom and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. So today we're talking about cortisol. It's our body's main stress hormone. I know for me, I tend to be a stress bunny. And so we want to talk about ways to naturally lower it so that we can feel calmer, we can think clearer, we can sleep better, and protect our long-term health. Because cortisol can do so many things to our body that we don't want it to do. It's in driving blood sugar, throwing off hormone balance, and so forth. So, Dan, where should we begin?
Well, when I was in therapy, yeah, I had a therapist, and he told me this is when I first got clued in. He's like, when you have an anxiety disorder like you have, normally when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol's higher because your body raises your cortisol to wake you up in the morning.
Mhm.
He said, in normal people, the cortisol starts to go down throughout the day. But when you're in anxiety, your cortisol is up all the time. And so you're getting all this inflammation, your blood sugar's out of whack, my blood pressure goes up because I get stressed and I just spike, things like that. And so I was like, from a healing perspective, you're not going to be able to heal very well with all that cortisol going through your bloodstream. And
Right.
that's when I first learned, I was like, okay, this is an important issue because how many people are stressed out? I mean, we're talking about you don't have to have an anxiety disorder. What
No.
about your job? What about you may be raising a family? You may be work traffic. It could be maybe your husband or wife are sick. You could be taking care of your parents. So many things that are stressing us out, and none of us, I can't say none of us, but most people do not set aside time during the day just to relax. And we want to talk about in this podcast why it is important to take measures to lower our cortisol because everybody I know is stressed out. I don't know about you, Jennifer.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody I know too. So we all have to learn ways to manage it. For me, it was definitely not something I prioritized. It was like, oh, I need to work on the food. I need to work on the exercise. I need to work on, everything else. And I kept bumping relaxation down. Relax. How could that be important? Right. But I do want to say, like you said, so cortisol is not all bad. It does wake you up in the morning and get you moving in the morning, and then it's supposed to taper down. But if you are like me and you're a stress bunny or you have anxiety, um, you are constantly driving and you're pushing that cortisol and creating your own cortisol through fear and stress. And after a while, your body can't make it anymore. And so then it's too hard to get out of the bed, or it gets thrown off balance. And so you can't get out of bed in the morning, but then at night, all of a sudden you have all this energy, or it can flatline. And cortisol, it's created by the same hormones that create our sex hormones. And so that can lead to infertility, that can lead to other hormonal imbalances. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping it all in balance. We want the cortisol in the morning. We want it to fade away during the day because we also want all of our sex hormones to be created and functioning properly too. Because even with sex hormones, we have to think about like testosterone and testosterone to build muscle and hold on to our muscle. And so it's not just for sex. We need it for many other things as well.
I'm glad you brought that up because it is true that cortisol is actually it's necessary for life. It's just that when we get too much pressure on us, but also you've heard about there used to be commercials about if you have a lot of cortisol, it causes you to have a belly. It
Yes.
causes you to, it actually increases your stomach fat. I've seen this because when I had a lot of anxiety, it
Mhm.
was hard for me to lose weight in my stomach. I'm like, what? I've never had that problem before.
Right. Right. Yeah,
So
it,
it's true.
it drives up insulin, and insulin tells your body to store fat. And when insulin's out, growth hormones down. So you can't build muscle. You're layering on more and more fat. The liver's storing more fat, and so that's you can get really sick just from being stressed out all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it, like you were saying before, you can do everything right, your food, your exercise, but if your stress is out, if you're stressed out too much, it's really hard to get well, whatever's
Yeah.
going on with you.
Yeah, and like you said, blood pressure, poor
Oh yeah.
sleep, memory problems, belly fat, hormonal imbalances, not being able to build muscle. There's just so many different things that can happen when we don't take the time to let the cortisol do what it's supposed to do and fade.
And one thing about it is we don't think about we all know that, okay, my job's stressful, traffic could be stressful, things like that. But one thing about good things that can be stressful, and I am an exerciser, I love it,
Uh-huh.
but you can actually over-exercise, and it's just your body sees that as another stressor. It doesn't know any difference.
Right. Yeah, it thinks you're trying to protect yourself from something dangerous if you're over exercising. Yeah.
So there's a balance there. If you exercise the right amount for you, you can actually lower your cortisol. But if you exercise too much, you can actually elevate your cortisol. So you have to find a balance for yourself.
Right.
So, and if you're in a anxiety state right now, I would recommend just walking
Yeah.
to help get the cortisol down. I wouldn't do like a marathon or anything if I was under a lot of stress.
Right. That's when people start getting sick over and over. I know for me, I was doing that. There was a time in my life where I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? I just couldn't figure out what is my passion and my purpose. So when I get off work, I'd go get on my bike and I'd ride my bike 10 miles every day. And I did it every day, 10 miles every day. And just running, writing, trying to just clear my head and figure out what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And I ended up getting sick, and I would get sick and I get sick. And it's just because I was overdoing it. I didn't need to be riding my bike 10 miles every day.
Yeah, and that's where the balance comes in. See, I think most of us in America, we have been trained since we were children to grind and work.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get anywhere. And they never taught us about balance, did they? Did they ever say, hey, but you also need to fit in some deep breathing,
Yeah.
listen to some,
Meditate.
no, no, they don't ever say that. They don't ever say that.
Meditate.
So
Take
we're
a
all
nap.
nervous wrecks.
Yeah, breaks throughout the day. Yeah, I don't even think schools have naps anymore. Um,
No.
yeah, I mean, kids used to have breaks after lunch, right? But there are other things. So blood sugar, it can go both ways. You can get stressed out and your blood sugar goes up, or your blood sugar can be out of control and that increases cortisol. You can be eating inflammatory foods, and that can drive cortisol. It's creating inflammation in the body. You could have chronic infections that you haven't been able to get under control. Those can keep cortisol up too high. Not sleeping. If you're not sleeping enough, our cortisol, um, it gets to drive us. And then environmental toxins, those can also drive cortisol.
Yes, all the things that we talk about, and for natural healing, all these things are
Mhm.
important. You can't just look at one and not the other.
Right, right. So,
Oh, and
uh,
go ahead, Jennifer.
there you go.
We're talking today. I said, do you feel stressed? And you're saying, well, that's my normal state. And it is for me too, because I mean, I'll feel okay, but
Hmm.
then I'll realize, okay, when my stomach muscles are tight, I feel tense in my back.
Hmm. And breathing in my chest, not into my belly.
Yes.
Yeah, breathing into your belly. That's huge. How many of you do? I mean, we're not used. You breathe where your belly sticks out. We don't want our belly to stick out, but breathe into your belly. Real
Yeah.
nice, slow, deep breaths.
Most people are shallow breathers, and it just adds to the stress instead of they never taught us how to breathe either. There's actually a way to breathe
Hmm.
that helps your cortisol stay. more stable and your stress. So,
Yes. So, what are some things that we can do? So, everybody's stressed. So, what should we do to bring down this cortisol, to balance our body and get the cortisol flowing the way it should?
well, one thing I like to do is we start with our food because you and we know
We're all about the
that's the
food.
foundation.
Yes.
So we of course we teach plant-based. You want to make sure your meals are balanced because you know that if you undereat all the time, that also runs your cortisol up. It's also very stressful for the body. Say if you're, I've met people, they live on maybe 1,000 calories a day, and this is so stressful on your body, whether you feel it or not.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for saying that because I have so many clients, they eat 800 calories a day. And that might be okay for a couple of days, but it can't be long term. And, if you are thinking about doing one of those programs, there's programs that show, longevity studies and all this, doing these 5-day fast or reduced calorie things. I'm thinking of Prolon, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But if you are someone who's already in a chronic stressful state, where you don't have cortisol, you're having trouble getting out of bed, that's not going to be the right thing for you. You need nourishment, and that's going to be too much restriction for your body. And so, while those can be great programs for some people that it's not. We are all unique, and so you have to really assess: is this right for me? Maybe, I mean, everyone. I mean, 93% of Americans are metabolically unwell, so chances are, those of you listening, you're looking for ways to reduce your weight, lose weight. Well, doing one of those programs, if you're always stressed out, that's not the appropriate way. That's going to create more stress in your body. It's actually going to cause you to store more fat. Your body's not going to want to burn what you're eating. It's saying, hey, we're in danger. We're not getting enough food. We need to store everything that we can.
Also, when you're doing that, you're not getting all your micronutrients. I like to focus on micronutrients. Everybody else is focused on macros. I believe micronutrients are more important.
Yes, getting your vitamins and
Magnesium.
minerals. Mhm.
Magnesium is the calming mineral, and it's found in foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, cacao, which we both love.
Yeah, and no, it makes me wonder if that's why I crave it so much, is I need more magnesium, just
Yeah.
so stressed, my body's burning through the magnesium, and so I'm craving cacao.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's definitely it could very well be because I don't think, well, they do say that they're estimating 80% of Americans do not get enough magnesium. I think it's 80%.
Right, right. It's hard to get it. It's hard even to get from your food. Soaking your feet in Epsom salts at night. I have a client that uses a wonderful magnesium spray that she said it puts her to sleep like right away. It's so calming. And so finding things like that, as well as the food. We always like food first, but remembering that it's hard to get magnesium from your food.
How do you feel about magnesium supplements? I actually do use the product called Calm
Yeah.
sometimes.
I do like magnesium as a supplement. There's several different forms, and so finding the right ones for you. There's some if you have a sluggish digestion, we have to talk about poop in every episode. But if you tend to be more constipated, then you want a certain form over. Some can be constipating, some can help you with constipation. Some can be calming, some can help you with clearer thoughts and things like that. And so there's several different forms of magnesium and finding the right one that's right for you when you're looking at supplements. Yeah, but also, eating a balanced meal, like you said, not focusing on the macros, but focusing on those micros and getting um, all the vitamins and minerals you can from your foods. Eating a well-balanced diet. We both really like Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. That is, you can even get a little app. It's awesome. We also really like Dr. Furman's G bombs, getting greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds every day. Making sure those are in your diet. My number one rule is read the ingredients. So anything that does have a package or a bag, buy as many things that don't as you can, or grow your own. But if you buy it in a box or bag, read the ingredients. Make sure it doesn't have chemicals that are going to inflame you and raise your cortisol. But my number two rule is to eat the rainbow. And so making sure all of your meals have rainbow colored foods so that you get those minerals. And then also eating healthy fats, not overdoing it, but eating, concentrating instead of, we tell everyone to eat dairy free. Dairy is very inflammatory and raises cortisol. But if you're only having almond milk, almond butter, almond yogurt, that's a very high omega-6. Almonds can be really good for you, but we need to balance that out with healthier omega-3 fats, which are in flax seeds and chia seeds and hemp seeds and walnuts. And so making sure you get the appropriate balance. Don't just overdo it with almond everything.
Also want to add, and I know a lot of people have a hard time with coffee and
Yes,
caffeine products, but caffeine
yes,
it spikes your cortisol. So
for hours.
yeah.
Yes, and I'm one of those people. I love it. So I hated the taste of coffee, and then I won a trip. So I used to be a baker, and I won this gingerbread contest, and it was a free weekend at a hotel. And I was drinking hot chocolate every morning, and they didn't have hot chocolate. And the only thing I could find was a mocha. And ever since then, I've been addicted to coffee. And so, I mean, I'm not drinking coffee these days, but I love it. But I think it's that I love the adrenaline. I love the drive, right? And so that means it's definitely not right for me.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was talking to my therapist, he had to get off coffee. He had to get off of it or he would stay anxious.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, I know there's studies out there. They say that coffee has got health benefits. I'm not denying that, but if you are a stress out person, I don't think you should be drinking a lot of
Right.
coffee.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my kids, they used to say they weren't getting in the car with me if I drank coffee. That was my sign right there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we talked about magnesium and magnesium rich foods, but there's two other things that I usually think about when I think of cortisol. One is vitamin C. We burn through tons of vitamin C when we're stressed out. And I think we are the only mammal that doesn't make their own vitamin C. We have to get it through our foods. Vitamin C is water soluble, which means that if we have too much, we urinate it out and we don't store it in the body. And so it's something we need throughout the day. And so that's another reason why we like raw foods and cooked foods. Dr. Furman talks about this too. He likes a pound of raw and a pound of cooked vegetables every day. But eating things like everyone says, oh, oranges for vitamin C, but red bell peppers, kiwis, strawberries, those are higher in vitamin C than our citrus fruits. And so citrus fruits are great, but so is like broccoli sprouts. Broccoli sprouts super high in vitamin C. So is sauerkraut. And so eating these things throughout the day and not just once a day and not just taking vitamin C, but eating the foods that are high in vitamin C can help the adrenals, which is what creates our cortisol. So it helps us to calm everything down.
I'm glad you brought that up because vitamin C, I think, is overlooked. It's very, very important for us. And
I think so too.
yeah, because like you were pointing out, we can't make it. And it reminds me of Andrew Saul. He had a website called Doctor Yourself, and it
Hmm.
was based around vitamin C studies and
Hmm.
how important vitamin C is and all the healing benefits. So if it's something you want to look into, it's a good website to check. So other than food, now food is our backbone, it's our foundation.
Hmm.
But also, I like to talk about some other lifestyle habits that we can implement throughout the day to help because I had to do some of these things every day.
Yes.
One, and I don't get to do this every day, but walking in nature, I was in nature yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and there is a lot of evidence now that walking in nature significantly lowers your cortisol levels and your immune system. I saw a study, I think it was this week, people who were in the woods camping for 3 days, their natural killer cells and their immune system actually were stronger and their immune system got a boost just from being out in nature.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, that's something I don't do nearly. I used to every single day, and now I don't. And so I love that. And there has to be a connection. I know this gets really woo-woo, but you know how the trees talk to each other and communicate. And even mushrooms communicate with the trees. And so I'm sure there's a connection. You hear about forest bathing.
Oh yeah.
And so when you're out and you're breathing in nature, you're breathing in all the different spores in the air. And so there has to be, a wonderful form of communication going on in our bodies among the trees.
Yeah, Chinese doctors are actually prescribing, what'd you say, was it nature bathing? Is that what they call it?
Forest bathing.
Yeah, they're actually prescribing that for a lot of their patients now because,
Yeah. Ah,
yeah.
that made me so remember Dr. Christopher. He would always talk about grounding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so doing that too, going out, stepping your bare feet on the earth, make sure it's a safe area. But we are electrical beings. We have energy in our bodies. And so going out and just grounding, some people even use grounding mats. I don't have a grounding mat, but going out and just releasing energy into the earth.
Yeah, it shows that when you ground, your blood actually gets thinner,
Mhm.
blood pressure can go down,
Wow.
cortisol goes down. It is amazing. And how it's cheap. I mean, it's not even it's free. It's not
Right,
cheap, it's free. You just
right.
walk out and it feels really good. I remember when I was in the midst of my anxiety years, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago,
Mhm.
I would actually go ground when I was having anxiety attacks, and I
Yeah.
noticed that I would calm down faster.
I used to do that too. I would actually lay down in the
Yeah.
grass. I would walk in nature and then lay down in the grass. It's some things I need to get back into doing. Yeah,
Yeah, we just lose our connection with nature. I remember when I was a kid, my mom she would take me on picnics. We would like put a blanket on the ground and sit on the ground and eat, some of these things that they used to do, like, our grandparents. Our grandparents seemed to be more in tune with their health and things they needed to do. And of course, it was a slower paced society back then.
true.
Now everything is just hustle and bustle all of the
24/7.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even Sundays. Did you ever go on a Sunday drive with your parents? Like Sunday was the relaxed day, you go on like a peaceful drive. Now on Sundays, if I have to go out, people are it's like just another work day,
It is. Yeah, it's nothing different. That's when we moved here in 2012. It was the same. Everything was closed Wednesdays at noon or 1, even the bank, and everything was closed on Saturday around 1, and then nothing was open on Sunday. And so it's crazy that, in just 13 years,
Yeah.
how much everything has changed. Yeah.
It's crazy. This society is not designed to help you stay calm. That's why you have to adopt some of these habits. You
Yeah.
don't have to, but I recommend it
I
because
recommend it as well. Yes.
yeah.
So let's talk about some of the herbs that people can use too. And so I don't want you to rely on herbs. It's not a pill for an ill, like conventional medicine. Oh, I have a headache, I need this. It's adding in the healthier foods, eating those nutrient dense foods, adding in the walking in nature and the deep breathing, but then adding in the herbs that are right for you. Because once again, there's no one size fits all, but adding that to it. And so we're not saying taking these herbs is going to help you with your stress and your cortisol. You have to do the work as well.
Oh yeah. And one of the most popular is ashwagandha. I think that's made there's a lot of evidence and studies with this herb. It's
Yes.
actually an Ayurvedic herb, and
Mhm.
it does lower cortisol. I've seen studies where it lowers cortisol, but they also, what do they call it, horse urine?
Yeah, it
Because
smells terrible. It smells awful. I can use it as a tincture, but that's it. But I do want us to give a little disclaimer on that one. It's not right for everyone with thyroid disease. And so it depends on which thyroid condition, if you do have a thyroid condition, which one you have. Ashwagandha is not right for everyone. And it's also a nightshade. So if you're sensitive to nightshades, I don't want to do any food fear mongering. I don't believe in that. But there is a small percentage of the population who does have trouble with nightshades. And so it's possible that ashwagandha could be an issue. But it's also, I think of, ashwagandha. I mean, just saying that is calming. And so it's a wonderful adaptogen.
holy basil is one of my favorites.
Yes, it's in
Uh,
my cup. For those of you watching the YouTube, I
Oh,
have
that's a
holy
beautiful
basil.
looking. Oh yeah.
Yes, in my quart jar here. Well, I'll talk about that again in a minute. I love it. I love the smell.
I saw a study this week. It come up on Facebook feed. It said that holy basil can lower cortisol up to 36% 1 hour after taking it. Now, I didn't read the study,
Yeah.
but that's a pretty big deal if it can. Yeah, it does lower cortisol and it supports blood sugar.
Yeah, it's a great one. And so we grow it in the summer. And so I like to harvest it and fill up my dehydrator. And then it's like aromatherapy throughout the house. I love it. Very calming. And I use
So,
it as a bedtime tea too. Sorry.
yeah, I think, was it Dr. Christopher talking about holy basil or was it, I think it was him talking about holy basil. I know he talked about one of the basils,
Hmm.
but
It's a
the
great one.
next one is rhodiola. Now, rhodiola is a very, I want to say rhodiola was, it's also used for performance, like physical performance.
Yes.
Because it helps
Hmm.
lower your, it helps keeps your nervous system more balanced.
Right. That's another one that made me kind of anxious. And so once
Yeah.
again, we're all unique, and so I hate to say that, but sometimes you just have to try it and see, does this work for me or not? So I have a family member it's great for, but for me, it's not. But it's supposed to be one of the best ones for helping, especially if you are just burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they use it in sports because it's supposed to help, the body with fatigue. If you're working out a lot, it helps the body recover from fatigue quicker. So yeah, if you're burnt out, like I think, I think, I get burnt out a lot, so
Yeah.
it's a good herb for that. Now, another herb is licorice root. Now, this one is for some people, it can raise your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So, but you can get the form without the,
Deglycerized.
yeah, you can get it without that.
Yeah. Now, and I will say it tastes delicious and people love it. And it really is supposed to help soothe the adrenals. But if you have high blood pressure, family history of high blood pressure, or a family history of glaucoma or glaucoma yourself, I don't even trust the diglycerized form.
You know,
Mm-mm. I mean, some people, I mean, it might be safe for people, but I wouldn't take it.
it's not a herb that I use much, if at all, really.
It's hard to find herbs that don't have it in it. Like one of my favorite brands, I realized because I started, so I fam background. My background is I had thyroid. Um, I had a thyroid autoimmune disease and experienced thyroid eye disease, and that's where your eyes kind of bulge. You may have seen people where the eyes kind of stick out of their head. And if I drink something with licorice root, I will have my left eye will start to swell. And so I just know I'm very, very sensitive to it. And my favorite brand, every single one, this is because it's sweet. And so it sweetens the tea and people want it and they want to drink more and more of the tea. But you have to really read the ingredients and watch that. So another one that I really love that's also in my Tulsi is lemon balm. And so lemon balm is really, really calming. And so I combine Tulsi and lemon balm, and I even have some mint in here too. Now, mint can be a little stimulating, but it can also be calming. Mint is one of those funny ones. But I love lemon balm. It's really, really calming and has been shown in several studies to be as effective as medications for anxiety. And so I really do. And it's one that it's a part of the mint family, so it grows really, really easily if you want to grow it in your garden or in your windowsill or something like that.
I like also one of my favorites is chamomile
Yes, very calming. Yeah. Or
and lavender.
oh yeah, with lavender. Very, yeah. Chamomile with lavender.
Hmm.
Yes. And
Yes.
then I was thinking of another one, Eleuthero.
Yep.
Eleuthero or Siberian ginseng is what we used to call it, but Eleuthero is another one that it can be wonderful. Oh, and we left out Schisandra berry.
Oh
Schisandra
yeah.
berry, five spice berry. That is another one that is wonderful for the adrenals. I don't like the taste as much. It's kind of hard to hide the taste, but that's another one that's really, really great for nourishing the adrenals and helping with cortisol.
Yeah, I remember when I was having a lot of stress, I actually made a tincture with a lot of these herbs we're talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
it really, really helped me through. It really did.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah. So let's give some tips on things you can do today. And so I know when I first got it started with herbs, I bought all these herbs and I got them and then I was like, "Oh, what do I do with them?" And so just pick one. Just pick one. So try one and don't just try it for a day or two. Try it for a whole month and see, maybe write down, record somewhere what you're feeling because we kind of forget. Oh, I forget I was, I felt stressed throughout the day, a month ago, and now I don't. We just, because it's such a slow transition, we forget how we used to feel. And so journaling how you feel can be great as you go along too. Balancing your blood sugar, very important, really cut out the added sugars as much as possible. And as you know, maple syrup can have minerals and molasses can have minerals, but there's still added sugars. And so watching those as much as possible. Honey is very medicinal, but it's still an added sugar. And so finding ways to eat your foods without adding those sugars and then just using those things for when you want to use them for a particular reason.
So, if I had to pick, but I can't pick for you, but for me, I think, and whoever's listening to the podcast,
Hmm.
I think for me, chamomile, that's the one that I feel the most when I take
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
So, especially when I do it in a tea.
Yes. Yes. And Tulsi and lavender is really good too. For me, I go to Tulsi.
Tulsi. I've never tried Tulsi, I don't think. You
Really?
grow it, right? Do you
Yeah,
grow
I
it there?
grow it, but you can buy it too. And I think I'm pretty sure that like traditional medicinals, that was Rosemary Glassstar's herbal company, another one that is very reputable. I love it. But I feel like she even has one that's a Tulsi and lavender if you don't have your own, if you're not growing
Ooh.
your own herbs. It's very calming and it smells so good. It smells so good. Yeah. Um, and so another lifestyle thing is taking breaks throughout the day. We hear sitting is the new smoking. Well, when you take that break, also tune in your breath. Am I breathing into my chest or am I breathing into my belly? Do I need to take a little time out? Too. And like this, I mean, how easy was this? I just got up and I threw in, I don't have to worry about steeping the tea. How long do I need to steep it? How much do I need to put in there? I just grabbed a handful of mint, a handful of Tulsi, a handful of lemon balm, threw them in a quart jar, covered it with water. So I'll drink my water and then I'll fill it back up with water and drink it again. And then I get my water needs for the day and I get the calming effects of the herbs. And so you don't be so afraid of the herbs. Find those that are safe. So the ones that we said watch, like licorice, ashwagandha. There was another one that we talked about. Um,
Rhodiola.
Rhodiola for me. And so rhodiola may be great for you. But so licorice and ashwagandha, make sure they're right for you before you test those. Chamomile, there are some people that do have some allergies related to that. I haven't heard any contraindications for Tulsi. I don't know if you have.
I haven't.
But so look into the herbs first, see which ones sound like they're best for you, and then try those. Don't go out and buy a bunch of herbs at one time, is my point.
So what do you think? You think people should get a lab test to see how their
Well,
cortisol's?
it's possibly if
Yeah.
your symptoms are severe, if you've had long-term anxiety, you haven't been able to let go of the weight, you've tried the tips we've used today already and it hasn't worked, you can't sleep at night, then I would get tested. A blood test isn't going to show you as good, isn't going to give you a good example. You can do blood test, but the best thing is a urine test. I like the Dutch test, Dutch, Dutch. You can Google it, a Dutch test. That can show you your cortisol and how your cortisol moves throughout the day. It was an eye opener for me because mine was flatlined. Because, like I said, I'm a stress bunny. I also have history of Graves' disease, which is high anxiety. And so I go, go, go. I feel an adrenaline, like I'm working. Oh, I can keep pushing. Oh, I'm being successful, working, working, working. To me, working hard is success, and that's not true. Slowing down and relaxing, that's when you start having success. But I saw it on the Dutch test. Everything was just flat and everything's flat, then so I wasn't able to build muscle. And it was like, I'm working out. I have my own gym with my cables and everything. And I couldn't build muscle. And it's because everything was flatlined. Everything. I wasn't producing testosterone, any of those things. And so for me, a Dutch test was really helpful because I was kind of stuck in that loop and wasn't able to make a change. And so then I learned different techniques. There are wonderful other things that you can add in that we haven't mentioned today that can help you get over that hump and help you start creating those hormones and balancing hormones again.
So yeah, that would be a good place, especially if you're not getting any better. In that way,
Mhm.
you can keep a test and see if the changes are actually helping. So
Right, right. And then
you
retest. Yeah.
yeah,
Test,
retest.
test it, make some changes, focus on downtime, relaxing, and doing all the things, not just the herbs. And
Yeah.
then after a while, test it again, 6 months later or a year later to see, have I been able to change? And so the Dutch will also show you things like melatonin, B12. And so you get a better picture of different body systems, glutathione. And so I like to look at all that. I like the nerdy stuff anyway. But you don't have to. You know how you feel. You can listen to your own body and make the changes. And then if you feel like it's something that you need to test down the line because it's not helping, then I would test. If you're in
I
that
will,
burnout.
I
Yeah.
would add too that it took me, oh man, probably about 2 years to start to feel normal again. Now I
Oh,
got in a pretty bad spiral there,
yeah.
but and I was doing these things, and I mean, there were times where I thought, well, I'm never going to get any better. But I finally did because I kept my faith up and I took the herbs. I took time out every day. I'm telling you, for me, 10-minute deep breathing a few times a day, that was a game changer. I can feel my nervous system shifting when I do that.
Yes. Doing it's just pausing, like saying a prayer before breakfast or before your meals. um, Doing 10 minutes before your meals. That can be a great little reminder right there. Before I eat, oh, I need a pause. And then that also helps you to digest your food better too.
And one thing my therapist told me I never thought about, he said he recommended that I did not watch like horror movies or movies with a lot of adrenaline scenes, violence and things,
Yes.
which I
Yeah.
never thought of that. But
Yeah.
those things you don't even think about. I mean, watching a movie with like a lot of violence, it stresses you out whether you feel it or not.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I know. I'm very sensitive to that. I can't watch the news. Can't watch. I can watch comedies,
Yeah.
but yeah, nothing that my brain is like on alert before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we gave you some really great tips. I hope that you have your answers for getting your cortisol under control. But we also work with clients one-on-one and would love to help you as well if you need continued guidance. You can find Dan at danthenaturalman.com, or you can find me at holisticgen.com. That's with a W. That's spelled holistic with WH. So holisticgen.com. So we would love to help you. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. And if you have other ideas, then please share them. You know that we love to hear from you. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again or talk to you again next week.